Bushcraft, prepping, and survival. Are these the same thing, or are they different? If they're different, how are they different? And why do people mistake them for being the same thing? Hey guys, T2 out here. Welcome back to the Time Preparedness channel. In today's video, we are talking bushcraft, prepping, and survival. On the table, you see one item representing each of the three categories. For bushcrafting, I chose a knife. Bushcrafting is all about going out in the woods and building, crafting in the bush, bushcrafting. Now for prepping, I chose a canned food product. When preppers first start out, most of them will go down to the local Walmart, their local grocery store, and pick up a ton of canned food because it's cheap, it's filling, and it's going to get them through 99% of the disasters that they're going to face. And for survival, I chose a little survival kit. Because when I think survival, I think the Altoids survival tin. It's something that can fit in the back of your pocket, and it's supposed to get you through multiple days. It is a very bare bones basic kit because it is meant for survival. Now you see, a lot of people like to class all three of these together. A lot of people like to think that if you're a prepper, you should also be a bushcrafter and a survival expert. If you're a survivalist, you should also be a prepper and a bushcrafter. But that's just not the case. Here on YouTube, we have a lot of experts, and they want to class all three of these together. So when you're a prepper and you build a bug out bag, the survivalist wants to know why it's so heavy and so large, and the bushcrafter wants to know why you didn't spend 3 weeks building a shelter instead of sleeping in a hammock. Now, recently I did a video where we did a bushcraft style shelter, and at the end of day 2's video, I said that bushcrafting is not prepping. And I caught a little bit of flack from it, enough to warrant a video, but was I right? Was I wrong? Like I said, it is great that the prepper knows survival skills and knows how to build an awesome bushcrafting shelter. But in a real world scenario, if I'm the prepper and I'm bugging out, bushcrafting is the last thing on my mind. I'm not spending 3 weeks building a makeshift shelter when the floodwaters are rising. Now, what about the survival aspect? You see, survival means making it through that day, making it through to live another day. But if the situation is move forward, survival skills are the least of my concerns. You see, I'm not going to sit around my campsite and set up snares and hope that I get a squirrel for the next day's 20-mile trek. No, I'm going to open up a mountain house and I'm going to eat it, and then I'm going to go to bed. I'm not relying on things that fit in an Altoids can to make sure that I make it through to the next day. And you can sit here and you can say, well, that means you don't have the skills. If you believe that, you're an idiot. Because never once have I seen hurricane evacuation people walk with an Altoids can. What you do see, though, is people who have bug out bags. People who have large bags packed, filled with food, water, shelter supplies, extra clothing. They're not relying on a micro survival kit that can fit in your back pocket. So that brings up the question, if these are separate, why do people merge them together? I guess the best way I can put it is welcome to the internet, where people believe that their way is the right way, no matter which way it is. But when they do so, instead, they just come off as wrong, and they come off as dumb. You see, I've been told so many times, knowledge weighs nothing, or the more you know, the less you carry. And yes, that is a survival idea. It is not a prepping idea. I've been asked so many times why I don't build my shelter instead of just hanging in a hammock. That is a bushcraft idea. Again, there's nothing wrong with merging the three. If I lost my gear, I need to make sure that I know survival skills and bushcrafting skills. Now, where does this video bring us? I don't get offended when people tell me that my bag's too heavy. I don't get offended when people tell me that I need to carry less weight and knowledge weighs nothing and I must not know anything because I carry so much. People need to understand which side that I, as a content creator, am on and which side that they, as a viewer, are on. People also need to actually go out and physically test things, but, you know, I've been saying that for years and here we are. Before you start acting like you belong to the keyboard warriors, think, is this guy a prepper? Is this guy a bushcrafter? Or is this guy a survivalist? Because if you're telling the prepper that he needs to do bushcraft things, he's not going to do that because he's the prepper. If you're telling the survivalist that instead of carrying the Altoids can, he needs to carry a full-blown bug-out bag with 3 days worth of food and 3 days worth of water, he's not going to do that because, again, he's the survivalist. So before you start getting them little typing fingers ready, understand as a viewer where the creator is falling. I can watch a bushcrafting video and enjoy it for what it is. I'm not going to sit there and go, listen, man, you need to ditch that bushcraft shelter. You need to get you a hammock. Because you're not building that if you're walking 20 miles a day. Yeah, they know that. But their channel is not about walking 20 miles a day. Their channel is about bushcrafting a cool structure in the woods. I can watch somebody use a Altoid survival tin that they built. Pretty interesting little build. They go out in the woods. They test it. I, again, am not going to tell him that he needs to do a bushcraft shelter. I'm not going to tell him that he needs to carry a bug-out bag because that's not the mission of the video. Now, are there similarities between each of these three? Yes. Bushcrafting is practicing skills and acquiring and developing knowledge in order to survive and thrive in a natural environment. Provide the basic physiological necessities for human life: food, fire, water, shelter. Prepping, on the other hand, is the practice of active preparations for a catastrophic disaster or emergency by stockpiling food, ammunition, and other supplies. What about survival? It is techniques that a person uses in order to sustain life in any natural environment. These techniques are meant to provide basic necessities such as food, water, fire, and shelter. Per those definitions, bushcraft and survival are very similar, and prepping is often left field. However, prepping is actually more than that definition. You see, as a prepper, you want to sustain your life with supplies. You see, many preppers are going to have food on hand. They're going to have water and ways to make water clean and safe to drink on hand. They're going to have shelter. I mean, all of that stuff is in this bug-out bag. So again, yes, merging these three worlds is awesome. Having prepping skills, having bushcrafting skills, having survival skills is amazing and it's awesome. And you should be merging your three items together. But not every prepper needs to know how to survive in a woodland area. Not every prepper needs to know how to go out here and build an amazing bushcraft shelter. There are more preppers than there are bushcrafters, and there are more preppers than there are survivalists. And the reason I say that is because anyone that makes a determining effort to stock up on things could be considered a prepper. The little grandma that lives down the street, if she's buying more food than what she currently needs and is planning for a rainy day, she technically can be considered a prepper. The guy who loves guns, he's going to buy a ton of ammo. He technically could be considered a prepper. But neither one of those people really, honestly, truly needs to know how to go survive in the woods if they live in the city. It really makes no sense. You don't need to know how to do bushcrafting skills. You don't need to know how to do survival skills. You need to know how to keep yourself alive. And if that is the survival skills, then therefore go be it. But you can also learn how to keep yourself alive at 10 years old as a Boy Scout. They're not survival experts. So it's not just me, it's not just this channel. I didn't make this video just because somebody insulted and hurt my feelings. None of that. I see this in every outdoors channel that I watch. I see preppers commenting on the bushcrafting side. I see bushcrafters commenting on the survival side. So before you get them little fingers going, understand what the content is directed towards and understand the market. You see, if I was a great fisherman and I was talking to a deer hunter, I'm not going to tell him to drop his rifle and pick up a fishing pole to catch more deer. Why? Because yes, they are very similar, but they are completely different. Enjoy the content for what it is, and enjoy it if it's your niche. Don't get all butthurt because a prepper is doing prepper things, or because a survivalist is doing survivalist things. Alright guys, in your opinion, bushcraft, prepping, and survival, are they the same? Are they different? Do you classify them the same way that I did? Or is yours more closely related? Or is it further apart? Let me know down below. Alright guys, that's all I got for today. D2 out.